Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I am Benedicte, and I am feeling indifferent, as in the mediocre version.
And I'm Benedikt. Today is November 8th. This is episode number 115, and I'm feeling skeptical.
Ooh, skeptical is that's a good emotion. So you get to
though?
go first.
I'm not entirely sure.
No, I wouldn't say good emotion. Interesting emotion.
It's an interesting emotion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First of all, Brian is out this week. I think he's enjoying himself in a theme park. Did I get that right? I think he's probably on a roller coaster right now, or getting to one. Is probably still a bit early for a roller coaster there. But well, he will probably be back in 2 weeks if I get that right. I think he's out in the Grand Canyon next week. Again, I hope he doesn't get lost.
And we hope he has fun now that he knows that there's an end to the whole RV year or half a year. And he seems like he's maximizing the fun for those last months.
I mentioned that to him in Slack yesterday that looking at their photos on Instagram, I feel like the smiles are getting way bigger these days compared to in the early days. And maybe I'm projecting this because I know a little bit of the backstory, but some of the smiles in the earlier photos feel a bit forced, whereas now they look very genuine.
But also, I don't think they've had any problems with the RV, because I remember in the beginning, like, it broke down and he had to fix it. Yeah. And so there were some definite strains on the whole thing, but yeah, he's enjoying himself. We're here, and you're skeptical.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. So, as I mentioned last week, we started our hiring efforts, and we put out 2 job posts last week. One for a customer success manager role, where basically we're looking for someone to take over customer support, but also demos and sales calls and just supporting our customers with getting started. And I think yesterday we broke the 300 applications. Well, not goal, but we have more than 300 applications by now. And that's quite a lot. And it's hard for Jane to sift through all of them and then decide who's potentially a good fit and who to talk to and stuff like that. And then the other role we published is the front-end developer role. We're basically looking for someone to help me with all the front-end development. And we got 20 applicants for that. So it feels like there are 2 extremes there. Like, one is getting overwhelmed with responses, and the other one is, not getting any responses at all.
But that is two extremely, 2 markets that are extreme, because everyone is hiring developers these days. There is a high demand for developers, while customer success, you can come at it from so many different backgrounds, and there isn't kind of any kind of skills. There is skill set, but it's not a hard skill set where you need to learn program. You can come at it from more of a VA background, or you can come at it from more of a business background. You can come at it from a technical background, and you can be anywhere in the world. Of course, you can be that with development as well. But I don't see it seems like the Silicon Valley is they're vacuuming. They're vacuuming the the developer market. So it's not an easy time to hire in, I guess.
No, it's definitely not an easy time, and I'm not entirely sure what to do about it other than just keep going and keep looking. Because out of those 21 applications, I think only 3 are looking interesting. So I'm starting conversation with those 3, and of those 3, only 1 has significant experience with Ember.js, the front end the front end framework we're using. So that's why I'm skeptical. I feel like this will be a challenge. I'm not entirely sure how to approach it, because as I said, there's only one candidate that looks like has strong experience, and the others seem a lot more on the junior side of things. So now I'm starting to question my hypotheses, or even like the approach of like hiring a senior developer. Maybe we should hire a junior developer and then train them. That wasn't what I was initially thinking about, but maybe that's what we'll have to do. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'm skeptical about the entire process right now.
Yeah, because I don't think any of you will have it easy. Like if you have 20 good candidates, like that is easier than 300 applicants, as you're saying. Like I've heard that at least in Norway, for like shops, if they have any vacancies, there will be like 600 applicants. Because it's like what's, quote unquote unskilled labor. And then they just like, you just throw away, like you can't even look through all of them. You're like, you want somebody to come in, a couple of afternoons to be in the store, and it's like, so they just throw away half of it, and then they just kind of randomly, I guess, pick someone. Now they're like, putting AI on top of that, which is like an awful idea. But anyway, we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about that. But anyway, and I don't think that's an easy task either. So I guess like it's just not like hiring isn't easy. Like I've never heard about anyone like thinking a hiring process went smoother than they expected.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering like how this will ultimately play out, because on the one hand I want to hire someone to help with development, but on the other hand I don't want to hire someone that is then requiring too much attention and too much hand holding and basically causing me more work than I already have. So it's I think that's more.
I feel like that is more of a personality thing than necessary skill set or seniority, because I don't have that much experience hiring people. But let's say like you want to get help from some friends, you're having a party or whatever, and some people will be like, "Oh, I'll come over and help." And they ask for every single thing. It's like, should I take these classes or those classes? Should I carry this thing over there? And then you have other friends who come over and just like look at the situation, and they just, they just start doing things and stop every once in a while and be like, oh, I don't understand. And then they keep going. And those personality types are just very different. And you need, like in a small team like yours and in a startup, you need that type who's just like looks at the situation and just like starts chipping away. And then maybe you'll have to say, oh, don't work over here, work over there instead. But I at least would feel like it's better that they just like started doing something than like sit and be like, I don't know what to do. There are no Jira tasks. Can you please direct me to the page I'm supposed to look at? That's I don't want to get into this type of micromanagement. That's not for me. Yeah, and I've seen I've actually seen seniors like that.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Like they're really good at coding, but like coding specific tasks, but they just like, so they shouldn't be seen. Like that is, what do we call the different roles? But anyway, like they have had many years of experience, but they don't have what Swizzek calls the senior mindset, which is more about understanding what to do and when to do it and how to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I guess I think the part I'm struggling with a little bit is because we're not getting that many applications, it's hard to, well, how do you put this? I feel like I have to move forward with some of those candidates, even though I feel like they might not be the best fit. And that's kind of, I don't know.
You're not obligated to do that.
But then again, if I don't do it, then it's never going to go anywhere. So it's, I don't know. That's a little bit what's keeping me thinking of like, how much should I try to hire someone out of the pool, and how much or how far can I go with not hiring someone and just keep looking for a month or two or however long it might take. So
because I think the people I do know that maybe have had an easier hiring process is like when you poach someone, or you find someone and then be like, I want you on my team, and they're ready for a change, or they're ready for a startup, or they just want to work with you, and then that is a way to kind of get that person you need. But that is a lot less like, I mean, then that could take ages as well. I mean, that is even less certain, I guess.
But maybe that's a good idea of just like, instead of sending out the link and hoping for people to apply, just proactively reaching out to people and just being very blunt about, hey, we have this open role. Is there something for you?
You should definitely do that, especially if there are Ember people you know of and that you like, or you like kind of the approach or whatever you've seen. I mean, how much can you know? But and ask them to apply. And also, I know, and I don't remember exactly how you phrased that in your not application, but the opposite job post about like if they should have a solid Ember experience, or if you like phrased it more as an optional.
I started out as like just stating it as optional. I've since changed it and kind of requiring it, but there's still a statement at the bottom of the job post that says like, even if you don't 100% match the requirements, please still apply. Because I felt like, and that's also feedback we got, that the previous version was too generic and like basically everyone was a good fit.
Yeah, that is
which also makes it hard for people to self-select in a way, or even make a decision about if this is for them or not. Yeah. So I was hoping by making it more specific, it would be easier and maybe even more likely for people to apply because they feel like, this is absolutely the thing I want to do. Yeah, because
I think that is because what I've heard is like certain people will not apply if they don't cover all of the requirements. And some people will, and by some people, so generally speaking, women will not apply if they don't hit all of the marks, and men will apply even though they only have 8 out of 10 or something. It's the statistics. But it makes it really hard because you don't want, as you said, be too generic or general. But if you are getting a lot of applications for people without Ember experience, then it could be an idea to like have a job post which is more of a junior, like we are looking for a front-end person, we'll train you on premise, and then have some other kind of, I don't know what kind of requirement, like you write it more like that so you can get more of those applications that you maybe have some of already, but then you're leveling it so that other, newcomers can see that, I can apply, instead of it just being the ones who are like, well, I'm going to apply anyway because I'm just going to I'm going to apply for any job just to get, which is a something I've suggested people do. And also I've seen other people suggest this, like you just want to, when you're getting into the industry, you need one job in the industry and then you can go anywhere from there. Right. But then you can open it up. But then you might get 300 applicants.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I want that. But honestly, that brings us to another topic that it's kind of funny to observe. It's like just the quality of applications in general. Like some people take their time and write up good explanations of like why this is a good fit for them and how, like, what's their experience with remote work and stuff like that. And then there are others that barely read the question and then put in a one-word answer. So I think one of the highlights we got was literally one where they put in one-word answers that didn't match the question.
Yeah. But
it's easy to sort them out, but
but if you're applying to like 600 jobs a month or whatever, then you understand where they're coming from too. But maybe the effort would have been better spent applying to 10 and do them thoroughly. But
I have a feeling that this might not be the tactic to land him a good job because there's nothing to go.
Disclaimer: I have not applied for jobs since my summer job at university. So like anything I say about this is like I have no clue how it is to be a job seeker right now.
Same here. It's been a while since I last applied for a job, so
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never hired, so I feel like I'm clueless on both ends.
So I know people sometimes like to come back to us. So if you have if you have hired people to a small team, and you have any pointers, you could reply to the Twitter episode when this comes out on Twitter, or just like DM Benedikt. I'm sure he's interested in
Yeah, that would be
your
much appreciated.
Yeah. So
And also, if you happen to be a front-end developer looking for a job.
But I mean, Ember, like,
why? Like, what's the,
I don't know.
Honestly,
I have no experience with Ember, so I cannot say if that's good or bad. It's just I think your pool is smaller.
I'm sure my pool is. I'm sure the pool is smaller, and I kind of knew it when we got into this, but I honestly don't get it because I personally feel like it's a good framework. It's a really solid framework, and I'm not sure why it fell off the radar for a lot of people. I feel like it had some popularity a couple years ago, but for some reason everyone forgot about it. But it's not that; it's still actively developed, and I personally feel like it's really, really good. And that's not just because I'm using it right now. I think they made a lot of right decisions, and I like the route they're going on. So
that actually remind me. Yeah, yeah, I've never heard anything bad about it, so it's not that. It's more just I never had a proper look at it. But I think now that we're talking about it, I think the one place I had a proper job, I think they have done a lot of Ember, so I can do a little like sleuth looking around to see if any of those are now on their own or interested in getting out of consultancy and into a proper startup.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, we'll see. Do a little bit of a LinkedIn search after we've done recording. Yeah. So if you know anyone or are someone with Ember experience and looking for a job, you know where to. Or
just solid JavaScript experience, willing to try Ember.
willing to learn, I guess, because trying, you're not going to throw it out and like redo everything in the whatever the person wants.
Yeah, honestly, that's a big red flag. And we got at least one application where it was like, yeah, I visited your website. It's super nice, but I think you should do this part completely different and use these technologies because it will be so much better. And I'm like,
for who?
Yeah, but why?
And also better for who? It's so, subjective. Like, who is it going to be better? Is it going to be better for the user if you spend a year making this in a new framework? Or are you just going to be the cool one who did that?
One of them suggested that we redo the documentation part of our website as a single page application, and I don't get it. Like, why?
No, but that is also just bad advice.
It probably is, and that's why I marked them as probably not a good fit.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, you can't search for your documentation on Google. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That is a problem. I mean, now we're just being mean. Do you have anything else to? Do you have anything else to say about the week?
Yeah, so one thing that's super nice about today is we got sun for the first time in at least 2 weeks or something like that. So I spent my lunch break going for a walk and enjoying the nice weather, blue skies and sunshine, and it wasn't too cold. And that wasn't the case over the last couple of weeks. And I noticed that my mood is suffering from that. I feel like I'm getting a little bit down recently, or it's easier to feel down and depressed. And the weather is definitely a factor in this. But we also had a little bit of MRR dipped a little bit. And yes, I'm not
no
my
sun,
MR.
and the MMR went down, and you're curled up in a fetal position on your couch. No, just kidding.
Yeah, under my desk. It is so hard to like. I don't know. I feel like winter is hard on me these days, and it has been over the last couple of years. I feel like December and January is always it's a tough time for me. And in the past, I thought it was related just because work was stressful. But looking back at it this year, I think there's a pattern there. Like, it can't be that work suddenly gets more stressful in December and January. It can't be a coincidence that this is happening 3 years in a row now. So I might be related to
I can just let you know, it's coming from a even more northern country. It's an age thing. So I was never really affected about the darkness in winter in Norway like when people talked about it, I was like, so like it's dark. I don't know. I had to go to school. I come back. Like, who cares if it's dark or not? And then I had the same thing happening over the last years where I suddenly find myself in like, especially in February, because it's still dark. So we had like November and December and January, and I'm like, this just got to stop. And I started dreaming of these things that like I never thought I would dream of, like going on these like ridiculous like sun vacations, you know, to some like resort with just a pool and a drink. And well, this might also have come with having a kid, because they have like little kiddie clubs that you can put the kids in. But like, and I never thought, like when I was younger, I was like, I don't get it. And now I can feel it in a weird, I don't know how to explain it, but probably the same thing you're feeling. It's just like, I can feel it. I can feel that it's dark in a totally different way. And I've talked to friends and a lot of them say the same. And it could be just age, but it could also be activity. So I always enjoyed winter because I snowboarded. So I had something active to do that could only be done during the the dark times, because that's when we have snow. But I haven't been doing that for many years, and I think like that is also a factor that I don't utilize the winter in any way. Like, it's just dark. Like, it doesn't give me something positive back. So that's a trick. Find something you can only do. Like, I don't know, nighttime photography or something, like darkness I don't know, something like that.
That might be an idea, but because like snow, no, we don't get any snow around here.
And that's what I mean. That's why I like living in this country, because at least we get something back.
Yeah, you get proper winter. I mean,
we get a proper winter. Sometimes.
I enjoy proper winter a lot more than the thing we get around here, where you mostly get dark, like gray sky and rain and a drizzle and just miserable weather. But there's nothing nicer than like having a lot of snow and sunshine, blue skies, and just being out in the cold, going for a walk or whatever, or snowboarding or skiing or whatever. But that doesn't happen around here. When we get snow, it's usually nice for the 5 minute the snow falls, and then it's horrible because it's all a squishy mess on the ground and it's no fun at all.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like, our November is like that. But the other Northern European trick is D vitamins, and also one of these sun lamps. So in Norway, I think you can actually get them like as a medical thing now, but I'm not sure. But at least like they have figured out that it does help with even kind of more serious seasonal depression. So it's I
started taking D vitamins yesterday and today. So
now you're like, woohoo, it's all good.
Let's see how it goes. And I'm actually looking at getting one of those sun lamps because I've read that it helps, and it makes sense. And if this is really related to just the lack of sunlight and the lack of like nice weather, then it's something I can fix. Whereas like just Scaling issues in a database, I don't have any control over that, more or less.
But I don't think it's not gonna fix things completely. But they are so cheap now, so why not? Like it's such a nice investment. But also going for walks every day, and just like because even in the darkest of days, at least in Oslo, northern Norway, it's a completely different story because it's never light. But we try to get out when we're being good about it. Try to get out at around noon during the winter time because then it's like the sun is at its highest, and even in rain there is actually daylight, and like it doesn't have to be sunny for daylight to actually work. So I just because I forgot to do yoga for 4 days, people, and I could feel it. So I started up a new 30-day, and it's not called challenge because it's yoga, so it's called journey. And I started it. So I started it up, and this is day 2. So, if you want to go for a walk every day, and I'll do my yoga every day, and we'll check in on the next recording. Can you do it every day?
I can at least try to do it, and
there is no try.
There's nothing really.
There is no try. It's only do. Or what is to say?
Okay. I should either go out or do some other types of exercises. Mm-hmm. Do you use an app or something for your yoga exercises?
I do like millions of other around the world, it seems like now. I do yoga with Adrian on YouTube. So I'm doing 30 days of a breathe, which is this 30-day journey name. I'm still going to call it a challenge. I want to challenge my 30-day yoga challenge. So I just go on the YouTube, and then like I let the ads play while I kind of roll out my mat and stuff, and then I do it. So because
that's a nice idea.
I'm cheap. I don't pay for YouTube. So
yeah, me neither, but I probably should.
I probably should as well. So
spent way too much time there.
I just transitioned into myself.
I was about to say yoga. I don't have anything else to talk about. So what's going on with you, other than yoga?
Other than not doing my yoga, well, I'm doing it again, and it felt so good. So last week, I think it was just before I did the test-driven development webinar with Miriam, who turns out to be a friend of yours. And it worked out really well. She said she's an over-preparer, which works really well when you do streams because there were steps for everything. But also TDD obviously lends itself really well to like tiny steps. You create a failing test, and then you do something to make the test pass, and then you keep on like that. And it was a lot of fun to do on stream, and it was a lot of fun to do for serverless functions because she had solved it in a very I felt like a very straight. I don't want to say simple, but like straightforward way where we didn't really kind of mock out any services or anything. We kind of just mocked out the objects being sent into the serverless functions because Gatsby serverless functions have some like helper objects being sent like Express. So there's a request object and a response object that is sent into your function. So what we did was mock what was on those that we needed and then checked if they were called instead of like spinning up the web server and like testing the endpoints or, some other like crazy bigger things. So that I really liked her approach. And so that was a lot of fun. And we've also had a little bit talk afterwards that it could be fun doing some more joints, like not maybe webinars, but where we stream together and create like a bigger something using more TDD than I'm used to. Maybe not like full on TDD. We'll see. If it's Miriam, maybe it's going to be full on TDD. But
I'm sure about that.
It's going to be. But I think it could be like an interesting series if we made like a little application or website where we were very vigilant about like using that mentality, because I think it takes training. Like I really enjoyed it, but then I go back to my own projects like, oh, I got to set it up. But like, it's a mind shift, like all habits. But when I did it on stream, she was like, no, test first. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Test first. So it was really nice having somebody like to kind of get you back on track. So I really like that. There was quite a few signups, so they're on my list now. Yoo-hoo! That's like the plan with these free webinars. And then bootcamp, the first bootcamp started, and there's a 4 participant plus my partner Ola, who is really enjoying it. And I think I'm happy by that. So I realized the first bootcamp was like not as specific, and I realized that I enjoy a lot more like coming up with demos for specific problems or issues or I don't know but like more like specific things. Like you want so that the next one is pay what you want feature with Stripe, which is a lot more specific, where it's like, okay, you want to take payments from people and you want maybe a tip jar or donations, so then you need pay what you want, and that is not something you get out of the box with Stripe. And so I feel like that is much like more fun bootcamp and a lot more specific bootcamp. We're going to see if that's what people want, because I see like a lot of courses and training is very general. So this will be a lot more specific. But since I'm already focusing on Gatsby and then how to do this in Gatsby, I think like I'm not going to teach yet. I'm not teaching like Gatsby in general. So you should like know how to run a Gatsby site. And then this would be a feature you can then add on. And by doing that, you'll learn Stripe, fulfillment, serverless functions, SSR. So you'll learn a lot of stuff, but in the context of one feature instead of learning SSR as like an academic thing. We'll gonna like use it for a specific use case where it makes sense. And I already had one who registered, so that's cool.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, but I think I agree that it's so much more useful to learn those concepts apply to a real problem, or like while coming up with a real application. Because it's same with programming books. It's nice to read them front to back, but you don't get anything out of it. Like experience and real understanding only comes from applying it. And I feel like like having an example like the payment it's great.
But then also people need to have time and actual intention of doing it. While I think at least I have bought a lot of training for just like edutainment purposes. Like I think it's a genre where I just like binge watch it, like I do Netflix, and then I know of the things, but I haven't really exercised them or like done them. But then I know where to look for that information when I have that problem. But I would like to offer more kind of hands-on where you should try to code some of it yourself, then join the webinar, then try some more in like the co-working, and then you get the full solution. But of course that is how you learn properly, but that is more time consuming for the participant. And also they need to really want to know that specific solution or that specific feature.
Do you feel like this is actually making it harder for you to sell this? I mean,
I think maybe if I had like a master Gatsby course, like I think more people would like buy that if they believed I could deliver on the promise. But
I'm just thinking about it because what you said totally makes sense in terms of like with the live streams and the participation, you basically have to set aside this week to really do this and be a part of it for you to get any value out of it, or actually for it to make any sense. Do you feel like it would be more helpful to actually have a course that's more synchronous, so people can actually buy it and not do it right now, but maybe in a year?
I think maybe. I think I'm going to test a little bit. So I am thinking of taking specifically this payment one and make it so I call them mini bootcamps because we kind of focus on one feature. And then I thought like, okay, let's try to make a mini course. So that would be kind of the same code example and same code demo, but then with maybe even that live webinar just chopped up, and then you could do it and then sell it without the live bits and see if for then a lower price, and then see if people are just like stumbling across like, oh, I need Stripe payments, and then okay, I'll buy this. I'll buy this mini course where I also get code access instead of following this tutorial that is never complete. because that is the problem, I think, with tutorials is like you don't get complete code examples. And I've gotten really fast at code examples these last days. So yesterday I did 2 full, like I have a base example, and then I added a super base for storing and retrieving in like 30 minutes. And then I did Trello, which took almost an hour because they use query params for their authentication. It's just like, it's weird. So I had to actually read the documentation instead of just going on intuition. And I'm starting to get a really good infrastructure around it. So I think that I'm going to test out just kind of selling demos, I guess, but then with a video walkthrough of the code and then the code, and see if there's any interest in that, because they're like complete demos instead of just, tutorials.
I feel like this could be huge. I remember like when I started learning Rails, I don't know, years ago, there was railscast.com, which was a website where they had like, basically it was like video tutorials in a way that they would always tackle one aspect like payment or authentication or something super weird, whatever. And you'd always get like the video, a written description and the code example. And it was great to just like go there and then be like, I have this particular problem. Let's watch the video for that, just to get a starting point. And I think at some point they even had a premium tier where you could then buy like the more advanced version of that. And it was great as just having a collection, not necessarily buying it just immediately when you see it, but like keeping in mind, hey, if I ever need this, or if this ever comes up, I can just spend a little money over there and buy the knowledge I need. And I feel like that might be a good thing for you as well.
Yeah, I think it could be, especially now when I'm gonna, by Christmas, I'm gonna have a lot of these demos. And then if I can make them, and I already know how to sell access to GitHub repositories automatically, since which I could also then sell access to the repo that showcases how you do that. As one of them. Yeah, but I think I'm going to test it out to see. But I think there is something in what you're saying, like when there's a larger collection, that could be interesting, because then people will come back and be like, oh, maybe Benedicta has, or Queen Ray has a solution to this already. And then they know it's kind of a high quality one. And after learning more from Miriam, of course, all of them are going to be tested and all of that. There's something in there. And then the other thing I've thought about, because I just really, really enjoy figuring out how to integrate with all of these different third-party services. Like, I think like what I think is most fun is figuring out how to set it up, how to like use it. Or if somebody throws something at me, like, can this be done? And then be like, I think so. And then figuring it out, and often quite, sometimes quite fast, sometimes not. But so there's something in like that creating demo thing. So I've always also thought about something closer to Rails cast. And now I think something called Go Rails, where there is like that thing where there are screencasts every week, but that's the Railcast person burned out, so I have to be very vigilant about like how many. But if there was some kind of thing where you paid to be a part of something, so I wanted to have these demos that be standalone ones. You pay for just one. We all want to buy single articles from newspaper, and we're never allowed to because they want your subscriptions. I don't want to, like, I would like people to just like pay for one. But then in addition, it could be if you pay for something more of a subscription, like a monthly, then you could be the one to suggest demos I'll make in the future. So then you could be like, oh, I really need this feature for my site or my project. And then there can be some upvotes. I don't know. But then I can pick one of the ones that people are most interested in seeing.
I like that.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Gatsby.
A good direction.
Gatsby cast.
Gatsby. It's not the worst of names.
It's not the worst. Go Gatsby, which is Go Rails.
Go Gatsby.
So on that demo thing, what I really enjoy, and we talked about it a little bit pre-stream, is like I really enjoy creatively using third-party services. So for the bootcamp this week, I've managed to make a GitHub repo into kind of your data store. So every time travel that is entered will then be saved as a file in the GitHub repo, and then you can, to fetch all of the travels, you then get all the files in the repo, which is obviously not a scalable solution, but for like a smaller project, or depending on your project, like if it's really fun to use tools that we already, because you get okay, at one point I said I really enjoy making new demos with new services, but if that is not your jam, if that's not what you're doing, sometimes you just want to test out some ideas and you don't want to sign up for new services all the time. And GitHub is obviously something most developers have an account there. So if you just want to save some data and you're prototyping, then why not just like throw it in there, and you could edit it in the GitHub editor, and it doesn't cost you any money and stuff like that. So I really enjoy like doing I think you said misuse. I said creatively use third-party services. And I guess as a third-party service provider, you don't enjoy developers creatively using your service.
Might be a good inspiration for new features. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. No, so there is but as the title of this podcast, slow and steady. I'm just getting started with this Queen Ray business, and I think that I'm starting to figure out what I like and what I don't like, and what people or developers are responding to. So I'm just gonna keep on doing it, and I gotten into a really solid like email writing flow. So whenever I've had like a webinar or had a stream, I try to like recap something we've learned or something I was thinking about after that stream in an email. And I just done them as emails, but I thought I'll just have a good old blog where there are actually dates on the blog posts, because usually it's like yesterday I did this or tomorrow this is happening. But I'll just put it up as a good old blog on Queen Ray so that I can start getting some search coming into the site for things that I talk about. So
yeah, I was really impressed by the amount of emails I'm getting since I signed up for the webinar last week.
Mm-hmm. Very few people have unsubscribed, actually.
Yeah, I think like if it's good content, I think people don't mind as much, especially if they signed up for it and are getting some value out of it. So
yeah.
When in doubt, send more email, probably. At least send more good emails, of course. Don't send a lot of crap, then people will unsubscribe for sure.
Yeah. I think last week was like a high. There was quite a few, because I did the webinar and then I had a stream, and then, everyone now and then you have to send a promo email. I feel like otherwise there's no point in the list.
Yeah, true.
So I did that yesterday for the payment webinar, or no, the payment bootcamp coming up. So
yeah,
we'll see. But it's like I feel good about it.
You have this commitment to Jonathan Stark that you publish like 3 bootcamps before the end of the year.
Yes.
So you now have 2. What's the third one, and when are you planning to publish the third one?
Well, the third one, surprise, surprise, will be after the payment one. And it's going to be about authentication with GitHub. So then we can store things in GitHub, we can authenticate with GitHub, and we can sell things through Stripe. And if you put all of those things together, you have how to sell access to a private GitHub repository.
Okay, cool. So you already have that one lined up for the week after next week, or? The
authentication one?
Yeah.
It's lined up in my calendar, but it doesn't have a landing page, and it doesn't have an email sequence, and it has a demo, because I already have the demo. But yes, that's the plan. And then I think it's Thanksgiving in the States, and supposedly nobody sells anything in December. So I'll spend December, I guess, streaming and also streamlining my processes and like building out my site, and maybe do a little bit of POW coding, because I am getting the itch I'm getting the itch that something needs to happen. And I think if I just embrace the technical side and like just remove any thought that I should like write emails about menstruation or hormones or anything like that, and just focus on making the product better and talk about it as a tech person, I will feel that there is some progress, and then maybe I'll be able to like find a partner or onboard a partner at some point. Or if I start making more money, just onboard some like content people.
Yeah.
And if you had 300 applicants for customer success, like there's obviously ways you can outsource things that are not tech.
Definitely, yeah.
So
Cool.
We'll see. I'll just do a little bit. Just do a little bit. Maybe I should do Advent of POW. I could stream every day POW code. That does sound like I'll burn out though.
Advent of Gatsby, maybe?
Advent of Gatsby. Oh, you feel like that is more on point? Yeah.
I feel like that's more on point.
That is true. But also, but also with all these demos, I started thinking again about something you said when I said I wanted to create Gatsby plugins. It's like, okay, have a look at what different marketing sites need, and then create paid plugins, or like where not the service providers pay, but yeah. Anywho, so I had an idea because I don't know if you've seen, but there is a service now that is an add-on to ConvertKit, so that you can have like an email dashboard, subscription dashboard in your SaaS or on your. So instead of just somebody unsubscribing from all of ConvertKit, you can have this like other link, and you come to this dashboard and you can unsubscribe from specific tags, or there's like this setup. And it's a service that you have to pay for next to ConvertKit, because some companies now I started clicking all links. So I have that in my ConvertKit, that you can click a link and I'll unsubscribe you from like one tag or like one list. But unfortunately now I had this happen where like these link automators where the tax office here in Norway, I had some people on my old list for that. And then suddenly they were all signed up for Gatsby emails. And I was like, that seems very weird, because these people, because I sent out a list to my old list, is like, if you're interested in Gatsby, sign up for my Gatsby list. And then I checked, they had clicked every link in the email, and I was like, this does not look like they've done it manually. So I just deleted them from my whole list, because like they shouldn't be on my list. Anyway, this is a very long story. There is a service now that lets you have this dashboard, but then I was like, I can make this with Gatsby and the Contentful API. And then I could either sell it as a bootcamp or as a mini course, or maybe even
both
as a little product where you just buy the code. And I can, like, it could become like a product, but maybe just first a mini course. So I'm seeing opportunities everywhere now. This is so much fun. Niching down. That was it.
Cool.
Are you done with your Christmas presents?
I haven't even started. But it's probably time to start thinking about it. Yeah, so that's something I should do sometime soon.
Yep.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I haven't even started either. But I was talking to somebody earlier today. It's like, I haven't even started on the Christmas presents, and I was like, should I have?
It's not even December.
should I have? I think she said she had like there was a lot of family, so yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said to get it done early, because then December and like the second half of December is so much more relaxing.
Yeah. Anywho.
Anyways.
Yeah. That was it. We managed to talk for a long time, even though Brian wasn't here.
Yeah, like whatever time we said, it's easy to fill it. Like it always happens.
Yes. Oh, well done. I thought too. As you've noticed, we've started having guests. So if there is somebody that who has done a product, maybe even done it slow and steady, then DM us and we'll try to get them on the show.
Yep, we're taking more guests on. That's a deliberate decision. So please apply or refer. Anyways,
that's it.
Have a nice week.
Have a nice week. Bye-bye.
Bye.